Crystal Tower Information Whiskey 21530 Zulu, wind 060 at 5.
076 Mike Juliet, this is departure radar contact.
Hazardous weather information from Minnesota available on flight service frequency.
You've dialed in the Flying Midwest podcast, connecting aviators from across America's heartland, sharing news, information, and events from around the region.
Calling Nancy 53 on Overtower, Roger, turn left heading 070, runway 9er, clear for takeoff.
Sit back, relax, and join our crew for some hangar talk as we discuss a wide variety of regional aviation topics.
Departure 71143, flying flight, runway 28 left, push takeoff left 10 southbound.
And now, from our home at the Anoka County Blaine Airport, our checklist is complete, and we're ready for departure for another episode of the Flying Midwest podcast.
Contact departure of your flight.
What is going on, everyone? Jim here with the Flying Midwest podcast. So happy you're able to join us. On this episode, we're joined with the guys from METAR AF, Bryan Turner and Andrew Hughes. They'll talk to us about this fun aviation weather app, its origins, and some ideas for the future. Plus a ton of fun hangar talk. So strap in and let's take off into this episode of the Flying Midwest podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Flying Midwest podcast. I will be joined by my co-host Maddie in just a little bit, and Trevor will be absent once again as he is out building those hours. So our push of episodes into AirVenture continues once again. We're going to be joined with Bryan Turner, who is of the YouTube fame Just Plain Silly, as well as the app METAR AF, an application that he and Andrew Hughes have put out on both the Android and Apple platforms. Since we're in this big push of episodes, there will be no news and events this time around. We will bring that back next time as we have some time to build up a little bit more news and events for those segments. So we've been pushing this pretty heavily, but we've got our AirVenture Call-In Extravaganza Spectacular, which we will record on July 11th. If you are interested in coming onto that, talk about your past Oshkosh experiences or what you plan on checking out this year, please send us a message on any of our social media, or you can reach out to us on our email, flyingmidwestpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to have some of our listeners come on and talk about AirVenture as we get pumped for the big event. And if you're looking for merch before the big event or any of your summer flying adventures, go check out the website, flyingmidwest.com/merch. There is also time to use our special summer discount code of SUMMER23 until the end of July. And if you order now, you should still have time for your merch to arrive before the big event. So before we jump into the interview with Bryan and Andrew, let's talk about some of our affiliate programs. Let's talk about Lightspeed Aviation and their brand of headsets. So we've talked the last couple episodes about their Delta Zulu headset, but if you're a new student pilot or just getting into A&R headsets, you may be looking for something a little lighter on the pocketbook. Well, check out the Lightspeed Sierras. I've been flying with the Sierra for the past decade, and they are a phenomenal headset. They've still got great active noise canceling, full Bluetooth integration, cell phone and music connection abilities, and comm priority so that you never miss a radio call. And when you're ready for that Zulu 3 or the Delta Zulu, they've got a trade-up program where you can earn up to $400 training credit towards the latest in aviation headset technology. So if you're in the market for that new Lightspeed headset, check out our affiliate link right down in the show notes. So summer is officially here, and the sun is beating down on us in the aircraft and on the flight line. Picking the right sunglasses for when you fly can be really important. This is where Flying Eyes Optics comes in. If you've been flying around with those gas station sunglasses, you have definitely felt the pressure from your headset pushing those into the side of your head, which can make for a really uncomfortable flight. Flying Eyes was engineered by pilots for pilots. Their extremely lightweight patented material allows these temples to conform to your head instead of curving around your ears, giving you a better fit and seal for your headset. So if you need a new set of sunglasses before Oshkosh or any of those summer events or your summer flying, head on over to our affiliate link and use our coupon code for 10% off. That coupon code is FlyingMidwest10, and that code and the link will be down in our show notes. We are happy to once again be part of the SimVenture experience, and to talk about that, we have Kevin from Pilot Edge.
Hey Jim, thanks a lot. Just real quick, SimVenture 2023 is coming up again. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically a virtual Oshkosh. If you have a flight simulator at your house or even at your flight school and you want to get them involved, You can actually fly into Oshkosh just about a week and a half ahead of AirVenture. This is a great way for those pilots who are actually flying to AirVenture to prepare ahead of time. Now, here's the kicker. We have the actual Oshkosh air traffic controllers. Yes, the ones who are going to be in the tower, down at Fisk, down next to the runways, the actual week of AirVenture. We have a handful of them volunteering to be the controllers during SimVenture. So it will be realistic. It will feel real. It'll sound real. And you will rock your wings. You'll be seen by the controllers and everyone else. Last week, we had over 2,100 arrivals at SimVenture. We look forward to even top of that number this year.
So what are the dates again for those that aren't familiar?
July 13th through 16th. It's a Thursday through Sunday. We'll run about 3 to 4 hours every day. The exact times of that can be found at pilotedge.net/SimVenture.
Well, we hope you have a successful event again this year, and best of luck with SimVenture 2023.
Thanks, Jim. Looking forward to seeing a lot of people out there.
All right, so let's welcome Bryan and Andrew to the Flying Midwest podcast.
Just somebody painted a butterfly, and it's in this room that we don't ever use. I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is.
I think that we're going to...
Well, it's beautiful.
We're going to start a common theme here. Anytime you come on this podcast, typically as we start an episode, some visual thing shows up that you have produced for us. Then
Last time it was a horse head, wasn't
it was a horse head last time, and then you also put on a blonde wig. And I think you also tried to show us an old instrument of some sort.
And a lot of visuals for an audio podcast.
Yep. And you've done it again tonight with our butterfly drawing. It was lovely, but no one else can see it.
Paint a picture with your words.
There you go. He showed us a picture of a butterfly. The end. So, welcome Bryan and Andrew to the Flying Midwest podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how's it going?
We're excited to have both of you because we've both been users of your lovely app, METAR AF, and I'm a fan. It cracks me up every time I go on there.
It was a fun thing to come up with.
So we're going to ask you a bunch of questions about that stuff in a minute, but as is tradition on this podcast, we're going to jump into our Fast 5 rapid response questions. And I don't know if you guys want to, try to beat each other to the answer, or you want to take turns, or how you want to do this, but these questions are for both of you.
Okay, I'm feeling lazy, and I just want to see Andrew get put on the spot, so I think...
Well, we'll start with him, and then if you feel his answer is acceptable, you can copy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just cheat off my test. I see how it is. Okay.
Yeah, cheat off his test. Question number 1. Favorite airshow venue?
Oh, come on.
This is Andrew's turn. You said he gets the answer first.
Controversial, but the one I go to, Hillsboro Airport in Portland, Oregon. Hillsboro, Oregon.
There's nothing controversial about that. It's where you go.
At home base, you could say.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Turner.
It's got to be Oshkosh, man. Once you go, you can't not go. Maddie, you're going this year again, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be there too. I mean, I don't know if you care about that, but I will also be there.
Are you going to go to Sig Shanky Niner again?
Probably? Question mark?
Okay. We're going. So if you're there, we'll see you there.
All right. Favorite aviation movie line?
Oh goodness. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's from Pushing Tin when he's talking about getting blasted off the tarmac because he was standing underneath a landing aircraft. And I just have this visual of him just getting blown into the sky off the aircraft, off the runway.
That was Billy Bob Thornton's character, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
That was an entertaining movie.
Favorite aviation movie line? It's a tie for the same movie. It's either I've been nervous lots of times or simply what a pisser.
I've been nervous lots of times because I have.
That's what that was like the line. I don't know. I was a kid when I saw Airplane, but I was like, that is genius. That is genius.
And today, still, it remains genius.
Yeah,
it's great.
Question number 3. Best aviation YouTuber whose name is not Bryan Turner.
Okay, I'm going to give this one to Mike Patey. So I follow a lot of Mike's work. I love watching his build videos. And we're from the same city of Gresham. So, he might move to Utah, but whatever. Where he's a trader, he can go live over there.
There you go.
Yeah, last time I saw him, I had to rib him a little bit. I go, dude, you're building this amazing house, and you're the guy with the above-ground pool. He's building that 20.
Jeez.
Have you guys watched the building
Destroyed.
dealing with this pool?
Oh yeah.
Not
It's
yet.
27,
No.
27 feet deep, and the floor raises and lowers and comes out to
my
be
goodness.
a dance floor.
What?
It's this house
above
is
ground?
Yeah.
It's connected to his house. There's a garage that he can park his cars under the pool. Yeah.
Oh,
go
come
check out the.
What?
I gotta go check it out.
He's
That's nuts.
targeting like the Discovery Channel at this point for this stuff. It's so over the top.
And it turns into a hot tub to the point where he could have 100-degree water in the winter time in Utah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I can't not watch. I'm like, my jaw's on the floor the whole time. Like, I hope he invites me over to swim one day. Like,
Are you stealing his answer then?
I do stop what I'm doing when Mike puts out a video, but the thing is, he's so over the top that I don't even count. Like, you can't not watch this. I'm trying to figure out if there's like a pilot. A lot of my friends are YouTubers, so I watch them. Mostly because I feel like I can see what they're doing. Like, oh, what's Smart and Paul? What are you doing today? Where'd you go? And I know Flight Chops has been around forever. I really like Flight Chops. I think he's such a fantastic storyteller.
He is.
I get pretty engaged once he gets started, and I know his stuff. I tend to watch through to the end. Whereas a lot of people, I'll just pipe in and see what they're doing and move on. But so I'll put Flight Chops up there near the top.
All right.
He's a good dude.
Question number 4. This isn't really aviation related, but I'm going to roll with it anyways. What do you feel is the most underrated Midwest state? And I know that we had a lengthy conversation about Midwest geography last time you were on, Bryan. But
Yeah, I still stand by the fact that you guys live in the Middle East.
I'm definitely in the center. Minnesota's in the center, isn't it?
Colorado's the center,
It's
maybe.
east.
Colorado's not even in the Midwest.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, Colorado's the center of the U.S. Everything east of Colorado is the eastern United States in my head.
So we're not using the Mississippi
Actually, that's
as our
fair.
guide.
No,
No.
the Midwest is Vegas and Utah and that stuff. You guys are in the Middle
come
East.
on.
Yes.
The Far East is New England. And I don't know why Texas is considered the West. I'm dead center.
You are center.
I'm south,
You are.
though, I guess.
It does feel
Yeah,
like
you are
favorites.
moving south.
it does feel like Dallas and Fort Worth are the division between eastern and western U.S.
Absolutely. Corinth, Texas. Denton, Texas, where I live, is the meridian. I don't even, like, I'm here I go, dumb geography guy. I don't even know what states are literally traditionally considered Midwest. I don't know which ones are, like, Ohio and Indiana and, like, what?
Technically, yes. Ohio,
Yes.
Indiana,
Yeah, we don't
Illinois,
own them, but yeah.
Michigan, Wisconsin.
Hobson.
Minnesota.
I like Michigan, Wisconsin. I go to Kentucky every year. Is that considered Midwest?
No.
Oh,
No.
that's the South.
That's the South. It's north of me.
That's the South.
It's north of me.
I know. You're still South.
You're right. It is north of you. See, you got
Then I'm
this
gonna go with
geography thing down.
I'm going to go with Michigan. The 2 times I've gone up there to that Upper Peninsula, last year getting to see the auroras was
That
I'm
was
not
cool.
crossing, but and then just being out there in that remote area, that was super cool. But that is super northeast. That is not the Midwest.
You might be onto something. What do you got, Andrew?
Actually, I was going to say Michigan as well. It's beautiful over there. The landscape is just, that is my favorite type of area. And although I've not personally been out there, might come to a shock of no one. I've never been to the Midwest. I've been to DC, and that's about it. And I mean, I've
That's
been
definitely not the
everywhere.
Midwest.
I've been everywhere on the West Coast, from Mexico to Canada.
Really?
Yeah, the entire
Oh,
West
wow.
Coast. Like driving it on multiple occasions. But yeah, farthest east I've really been is Colorado and a trip to DC.
Last year I got to watch Jim do what every instructor does, the taking off over a 50-foot obstacle. That was like, you were clinching, man.
I might have been. Yeah. There was some knee knocking going on in that cabin after I got off.
Yeah.
I was so close to aborting that
Stunted.
takeoff.
Oof.
I probably should have.
I saw 2 other planes that should have aborted. One did, but 2 other ones that shows like, man, you guys are really close to those trees.
Uh-huh. I think there might be some pine sap on the underside of my wings. We'll get it cleaned up this spring. So, our final question in the somewhat fast five. If you could meet anyone in aviation, dead or alive, who would it be?
That is a tough one.
We asked the hard questions here.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a fair answer. Like, it's going to be Amelia Earhart because I want to know where she ended up and how she died. Like, I want the mystery solved.
You know what? That's very selfless of you. You could have picked anybody, but you want to solve the mystery for Amelia.
I want to know because
I like
I've seen most pilots are kind of pompous and like I've heard rumors of Chuck Yeager and Bob who are kind of like big-headed, macho pilots. Like, I'm not interested. I'm not. They're cool, but or was Lindbergh that trip? Oh my god!
Yeah,
36 hours or whatever it was with one little window. Like I would love to hear over a couple of beers that story.
Andrew, what do you got?
So I was thinking DB Cooper for similar reasons. I just want to know what happened. Like, I want to know, did he even survive the jump? I mean, theoretically, they were so high up there.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Yeah, and didn't they find the money or something, or what a rumor?
Theoretically, and they also may have found a picture of him holding the bag of money from his brother, but it was like this whole hush-hush thing. There was a whole documentary about it years ago.
Take a picture, but don't show anyone.
Those are both interesting answers that I wasn't expecting, to be honest with you.
Who's yours?
Oh, I'm going to steal somebody else's answer from this podcast. Not just Lindbergh. Lindbergh right after he landed. Like, if I could go back in time right after he lands to have that conversation when it's so fresh and so raw, I think that would be so cool.
Yeah. Where'd you pee? That's what I'd have.
So it's a stolen answer, but I think that is my current answer.
Maddie?
I don't know. I've been kind of playing around with it because, like, of course, like, the greats, like you said, like, there's so many people. Obviously, Amelia Earhart, duh. But one that I haven't heard yet and that I thought would be really interesting is Burt Rutan. So he's, like, he did so many, like, he invented so many cool things. It's like, I want to know all the things, I don't know.
What did you smoke before you built that?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to be honest, when you first said that, I could have swore you said Burt Reynolds. And that didn't seem like an accurate answer.
God.
But your
okay,
answer's
does
way
Harrison
better.
Ford count then? How do you make something so wild, so ridiculous, and, so damn ugly, and make it fly? And people like the long easy and stuff, the very easy. People, like, there's a cult following. People love those things.
I love those. I would love a Velocity. Just, I know nothing about it other than it looks like a spaceship and I want to fly it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It really does look like something that I just went to an AI and said, make me an airplane with big canards in the front. And it was like, okay.
It does. It looks exactly
Honestly,
like AI generated.
That's a great
does.
analogy. Well, gentlemen, thank you for playing along with our Fast Five questions.
Sorry for slowing it down.
It's this isn't even the worst it's ever been.
We'll call this the Cub Fast Five, right? It's fast for a Cub.
There you go. I love it. Love it. This is a J3 Fast Five.
Yeah.
There we go.
Beautiful. All right, Maddie, take it away.
All right. So I think Jim and I have read enough NTSB reports, so I think we know everything there is to know about Bryan Turner. So, Andrew, could you tell us a little bit about your aviation background?
Well, I don't know. That's going to be a hard one to follow there. Well, I've definitely had less trips to my local FSDO. I can just start by saying that.
What a flex.
I'm just a private pilot. I've been flying for about 4 years now, but I also took an incredibly long time to get my private certificate, just thanks to life in general. But I've been passionate about aviation my entire life. My grandfather was in the Air Force, and although he didn't fly, he was very passionate about aviation. My father as well hated actually flying. Every time he got into an airplane and the thing got a little bit turbulent, he just basically pissed himself. And so, sorry, Dad, if you're listening to this, love you. But yeah. So he stayed on the ground, and he ended up working at the San Diego airport for most of my childhood. And being that I had families separated between Fresno and San Diego, and with him working at the airport, I got to fly back and forth between there all the time. And it was 4 times a year, 2 flights at a time. So I very quickly developed a love for aviation, just being on the airplanes, just taking those little puddle jumpers between Fresno and San Diego over and over and over again. And then as I grew up and, had to do, get a life of my own and all that kind of stuff, I never thought I would be the kind of person who could be a pilot. I always thought takes way too much money for that. You got to be a rich guy to be a pilot, right? And then I realized, I was like, wait, but they're like 18-year-old kids turning into commercial pilots. And if that's possible, then it's somehow this is possible. So I looked more into it, found out getting my private certificate wasn't as much as I thought after, figuring out how much I'd have to sacrifice. And yeah, just started working on it. At that point, I had been a software engineer working for some major companies. And that part of my professional career was starting to develop really well. And I had this itch for aviation. And so I got my certificate and just never looked back. Now I'm in a partnership with a beautiful Cessna 177 Cardinal, the best airplane there is, period. No arguments. Okay. Better than a Blackbird. Yeah.
It's a high wing, but okay.
Well, you asked me about that at the end with my controversial opinion, and I assure you we'll revisit this conversation.
Maybe I will.
I look forward to it.
So, got in a partnership with my Cardinal. Absolutely love it. Decked the thing out with some glass on the inside because
nice.
Tech geek has to have glass panel at least partially. And then, aside from the turn coordinator that is original to the airplane, so it looks this new thing. And yeah, now I just buzz around the Pacific Northwest whenever I get a chance and, life allows me to.
I don't like high wing planes. I actually do really love the Cardinal.
I don't have a lot of hate for the Cardinal. I just thought I'd try to be funny. Stir up some controversy.
That's fair. And I'm the perfect one to do that with, especially when it comes to like Cessnas and Cardinals and stuff. But I think like with the Cardinal being sat forward more and the wings being a little bit behind the pilot and the co-pilot, that makes a huge difference. And as long as you're okay not landing it like a normal Cessna, if you land it more like a Piper or something like that, where you just kind of hold it off the runway the whole time instead of like constantly adding more back pressure, that thing lands so smooth every single time, and it's exact. It's precise. I love it. It's a great platform.
Are you planning on making this like a career, or are you just wanting to bop around? Or do you want to get your instrument rating commercial? Or are you kind of just happy as is?
I'm a flight seer. I do want to get my instrument rating, but life takes precedent over that and everything, and it's just not as much of a priority because I'm not going commercial. And so if the weather's bad, I just don't fly. The wind's more than like 10 or 15 miles an hour, I probably don't go flying. It's just not worth it.
So you mentioned something about weather and, kind of fair weather flying. Do you guys happen to know anywhere where I could check the weather? Like any good apps or anything like that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I might have a few in my back pocket, but I got to say, there's this one really good one called METAR AF.
Yes. I've got that one. JD Power and Associates called it the most accurate weather app that instills your intelligence.
Guaranteed.
Running. It was the sexiest app alive on the cover of Time magazine.
Oh, wow. So you two clearly had something to do with the creation of this application. So where did the concept for METAR AF begin?
I was on Facebook one day in a pilot group, and I don't know what was going on, but someone goes, hey, wouldn't it be great if there was an app like What the Forecast, but for pilots? And so there's an individual who's sort of well known, and he's like, I'm a programmer, I can do this. And I was like, I just really wanted to beat him to the punch. And I like immediately thought of him. I could do it. So the first thing I did was I was like, I just like METAR AF. I went and bought the URL immediately. And then I said, everyone give me 24 hours. And then it was like hard coded. It had like 12 responses, and it was just a web page. And then, so it got shared in a Facebook group, and then Captain Roger Victor shared it. And a lot of people saw it from there. And then I kind of told the story. I had Andrew on. I had people reach out to me a few times saying, oh, I'm a mobile developer, I can help you develop this. And they all just think, I'm like, yeah, what do we need to do? And then they all just ghosted me. And then Andrew I think found me on Facebook, or we were chatting in the comments on something, and he said, "Hey, I'm a mobile developer," and I was like, "Sweet, tell me what to do." And he actually emailed me back, and then he said he was going to work on. I was going to do some stuff on the back end, and then we kind of, I don't know, like 6-8 months didn't speak, and I was like, okay, nothing's going to happen. And then like one day, he emailed me or something. He's like, "Hey, it's ready," and I'm like, "Who are you?" Like, so he had this kick-ass front end, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so much cooler than like I ever thought it could be." So it lit a fire under me. So I do the database piece. Like, I take it's real data we pull from NOAA or whatever, and then I've got a little engine in the background that makes the snarky stuff. And then Andrew's a magician when it comes to mobile development and the user interface. It's so, if you saw the website's still up, it looks like trash. That's what I built. And then look at the app, what he built. It's like, you can tell I kind of stopped learning my sophomore year of college, and this guy kept trucking. So Andrew, talk about your site, because your site's way more exciting than my SQL database.
I mean, I don't know if it's way more exciting. Yours is where the humor comes from, and that's why people go to the app. But at the same time, I had a lot of fun making this app. And I've been a professional app developer for, like, we'll just say big, boring companies for years without breaking my NDAs and stuff. But like, there's like good probability you've used my software. And I wanted something as a passion project. And when I was on for those who are familiar, I was on the Airplanes and Coffee group on Facebook, and they've easily been one of the most supportive groups on the internet, and super, super helpful in everything. And yeah, Bryan and I bantering back and forth, and I saw his METAR AF, and I was like, "Does this exist as a mobile app?" He's like, "No, but it can." and I kind of, like you said, I kind of ghosted him too, because life just slapped me around a whole bunch. But even with all my life going on, I still was, on the weekends and in the evenings going home, writing an hour or two of the code for this. And I was like, maybe it'll come to something, maybe it won't. And yeah, like 9 months later, I actually had a really solid user interface that just looked good. It looked clean. My wife is into the graphic design, and so I was consulting with her the whole time, and we were kind of like going off different ideas. And I had a whole bunch of like Easter eggs and stuff hidden in there. And I'll tell you this, most people haven't even found all the Easter eggs. Busted that out, and once it started to look good, and I messaged Bryan, and he was like, "Okay, I think we actually got something here." So finished the polish, put it up on the Android app store. At the time, I was only an Android developer. I didn't write any iOS code. I didn't know Apple. I didn't know anything about Apple. I don't like Apple. And yeah.
Don't you have a Mac?
I do, and I write all of my Android software on a Mac.
Oh, for crying out loud.
That's actually the industry standard. It's as oddly enough, but it's because Macs don't crash as often as Windows do. So I wrote the Android app, put that up, and immediately got attention. Immediately it was like, "Oh, people like this. Oh, people like this a lot."
Yeah, we didn't even do a video about it. I think we like posted a little bit on Instagram. I made a TikTok about it, and it kind of took off.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't have to do anything just yet. You actually said hold off on the real video.
Yeah.
Because it like I think like in a couple of days you mentioned like we got 100 downloads or something, and like the next day it was like 200. Like what? And then I don't remember how long. It was a month, I think, before I made a YouTube video about it, which is where we knew that would be our best marketing, I guess. How many people have downloaded it?
Well, it's a really funny story about that. So yeah, it was like 200 downloads in the first 24 hours, which just blew my mind. Like it shocked me. I was expecting like 20 downloads, especially just barely talking about it. But I saw that happen, and I was like, I have to make an iOS version of this. I can't, in good conscience, let Bryan put out a YouTube video about this without making the iOS side, which thanks to ForeFlight, most pilots are forced into iOS land.
It's the only reason.
It's the only reason so many pilots have it. So I was like, I have to make an Apple app, iOS app for this. And I just started learning iOS. I just started making it. That's right. Looking up tutorials, figuring it out, making bad code, rewriting it, making more bad code.
How much of your code was written by ChatGPT? Be honest.
Now or then 0%, because I didn't understand that it could write code for me. Now about 30% of the app.
Okay.
That's a thing you can do.
Yeah, it writes software. Oh man, that thing writes good software and bad software, just like a real programmer.
I have got a question actually about it is relevant.
Oh, well, that's good.
What in the world costs $99.99 on the app?
I want to get the exact quote here because I don't want to mess this part up, but this is, so for the Android app specifically, if you would like to disable ads, we just ask that you make a donation. Those donations are time-based.
Sure.
And after a certain point, I wanted it to be like, you made a donation big enough that we're going to disable ads for you forever. But I didn't want to it was not just going to be forever, right? So you hit $20, it's like, I'm going to disable your ads for 5 years, right? After that point, it was like, if you donate more than $20, I'll turn your ads off for 52 years for $50. I'll turn your ads off for 5,837 years if you donate $100. And that math is accurate. That is according to how many seconds have elapsed since January 1st, 1970. Okay. That is how it is calculated. It is accurate. It'll even give you a nice little pop-up that'll tell you the return date of your ads some 5,000 years in the future.
And the joke's on these people because they don't know we're going to be dead 5,000 years from now.
Who knows if the Google Play Store is even going to be up? Yeah.
Your podcast is just going to be for Chat GPT making jokes to each other.
That's how I write the script now anyway, so.
I'm so glad I asked about that. That is so funny.
The amazing thing was I forgot about that's what we were doing the YouTube video. So he's like, we need a Mac version. And if you disagree, I don't know how to do it. And was it 3-4 weeks? It was fast, dude.
Yeah. That's arguably the fastest I've ever learned a new platform language and produce an app all at the same time. Like I scared myself, but at the same time, like there was a lot of sleep lost. My wife didn't know where I was, even though I was 15 feet away. Like, so, my dogs were worried about me. There was a change in lifestyle. Lots of Taco Bell during that period. Yeah.
Is that what fuels you IT guys? Just Taco Bell or?
Baja Blast specifically, yeah. If you don't have
that's
Baja Blast, and like that's for those who don't run, this is the we'll call it not the evening version, but that those who are not fueled on beer and cigarettes are fueled on Baja Blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, I'm getting out of IT, so it's a glass of red wine in the evening. No more Mountain Dew for me.
Yeah, I don't drink or smoke, but man, that Baja Blast, you can just you can mainline that stuff.
Andrew, how many downloads do we have now?
Oh goodness, you know what? I want to pull up the exact numbers, but we're close. We're right around the 5,000 mark between both platforms.
Oh, good.
That's awesome.
So, I can't say we're millionaires. I can't say we're rich.
Dude, I was just texting my boss, take this job and shove it. Are we not there?
No. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's something like 3,000 on Apple, a little over 3,000 on Apple, and about 1,500, almost 2,000 on Android. So.
All right, I'll take it.
Awesome. I think about 50% of that's probably from our podcast audience, so you're really welcome for that.
Oh, well, thank you graciously.
We don't have that big of an audience.
Yeah, what makes our app stand apart from everyone else's is it's fun.
Yes.
But it is fun.
And I always feel like when I tell people about the app, I'm like, it is the real data. Like, I know it's a goofball thing, but that's the real data. So if there's a storm, pull it up and let it berate you.
Well,
if it's raining, if it's hail.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't even trust your data, Brian. I don't know if you know about this. I don't even trust your data. I make the phone go get a new call from aviationweather.gov right then, and I put that.
I appreciate that. I don't trust my data.
Yeah, so
it wouldn't surprise me if I'm somehow pulling it from the if I'm pulling it from the website and somehow screwing it up on its way to the app. It wouldn't surprise me a bit.
It's rounding, and that's what got me. It was rounding, and it irritated me. So
was it really?
Yeah, so I downloaded. I
probably defined a float as an integer. I'm not a good programmer.
That's.
I'm starting to understand why you're getting out of IT.
I've managed to get 25 years of this career, and I'm like, one of these days someone's going to catch me. Find out.
It's best to start making that move now then.
Yeah, I'm a better pilot than an IT guy. I finally figured that out, and so we're going that route.
I don't know if you should admit that, man.
Is rounding errors when flying a problem? Because
I was saying, if the cap is your flying skills, what does that say about your programming skills?
I measure my altitude in Celsius. Is that not how you do it?
Oh, no.
Well, you do have freedom units on the app. I do appreciate it.
And squeezing force.
Squeezing force and freedom units.
I do appreciate the dew point.
Oh, who knows what that is? And I think there's a configuration where you can make it say moist meter.
That's in the freedom units.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So someone said that was the perfect opportunity to include the word moist, and I could not resist that. So I immediately went to the X update.
I just saw it, and it was the highlight of my day.
Are there any Easter eggs in it for like if you pick a crappy airport or something, or like Meigs Field or something? Like, are there like because there's like cause someone told me like you should put like X certain airport and like no one wants to go there and like wisecracks about it. Do we have anything like that in there?
So on the airport one, not yet, but I'll tell you this: if you pull up the Android app and you put in 1 November Romeo, and some of you know that tail number.
Yeah,
you'll get
Vegas Bravo Buster.
Vegas Bravo Buster. So you'll get a fun little animation for that. There's some more, we'll call it immature Easter eggs in there too.
Oh, like, I know exactly what to look up. Hold on.
Oh yeah. So there's a 5-digit number that if you put that in there, it'll give you just some terrible internet.
Yeah. I love that. I don't even know that this stuff is in there. I love this.
Like, I had to hide all this stuff around. No. It made it a lot funner to build when I was working on it. I was like, ooh, Easter egg here. You know, if the user enters this, take it to a whole different screen.
Keep doing that stuff.
All jokes aside, I think it is fun to use this app for weather too, just for the, kind of little cracks at my flying, keeping me humble.
My favorite stuff, like I always was like, man, I don't like to make light of crash humor, but my favorite stuff is like, it's snowing outside. I wonder what shape your plane will make in the snow.
That's
like it's really mean of you to drag the first responders out on a cold day like this.
Yeah. I like the first responder ones. There's a few of them in there. I think those crack me up. The one I just pulled up was 5 knots is perfect. It'll blow the smoke away from the first responders.
There's one where it's like, it's snowing outside. It's going to be cold and then really hot and then cold again.
See, I've always liked you got 10 miles visibility, so people are going to see your crappy flying for miles. Like,
that was another good one.
If people do want to go to metaraf.com, there's a link where you can submit your own clever responses, and I'll review them because I can't have R-rated stuff in it or too cross-rated stuff in it. But so people could submit stuff. It'll say like, I got, mist, baby rain, BR, whatever the character is. And then you want to put your snarky thing. And if I approve it now, it gets included as a response. So lazy way out. You guys build it.
That's fair.
That actually was one of my next questions we have here is that you have used some of that aviation community to build this a little bit. How does that work? So, they go on the website and you review it, but have you had a lot of success with it so far?
Well, there's a whole lot that have been inputted, but what you don't know about is how lazy I am.
Oh, do tell.
So I feel like there's I'll go in there every once in a while, there's a whole lot of them. And then I kind of got to figure, okay, obviously inappropriate ones are out. And then I try to pick the funniest one. Like I'm torn between going, some stuff's just, I don't find it funny. But also, you want the app to have as many random responses as possible. So I go through and I vet them, and I kind of, and sometimes like, that's kind of funny or kind of on the edge. So it's just me doing a judgment call. But so sometimes I'm like, oh, there's like 100 responses in there. I'm like, I don't have time for this, and so I just close it. But eventually, they're all going to get reviewed when I feel like it. Because I don't have an interface for approving it. I got to go into the database and pull up the table of responses and say what's new, and then I got to write a query to approve it. If I were smart, like Andrew, I would just build an interface where I could say approve.
My first thought was like, do you need me to build you an interface to hit approve?
The answer to that question is yes.
All right, we'll talk after the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wanted to throw out one more Easter egg out there because this is one of those ones.
Bring it on.
So
I love this.
If your wins are variable right now, you'll get a nice little shrug. It's like, I don't know where this wind's coming from. And if they're calm, you'll get pilots going both ways. Because for all the untowered flyers, it's the Wild West.
It's whatever works.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Even looking up that airport you told me to look up, it's knocking my flying again. Speed is relative, as are your piloting skills. Just one hit after the other.
I love it. And it's funny. My wife will come in and she'll be like, "What are you laughing at?" Because I'll pull up the app and I'm like, "I know I wrote this. I don't remember it. Like I've populated that database over a year and a half or two, and like I don't remember what all I wrote. And like I'm like that with my videos. I'll go watch a video, and be like, I can't believe I said that. Like I just crack up every time I open this app. And I'm like, I don't remember writing that, but that's hilarious. It's like. And sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, oh, that's kind of mean. I'm like a bad guy.
I don't know. You're a bad guy who makes people laugh, so I'd consider you a good guy at that point.
Okay.
Like that's.
I mean, it's not like you said oil samples off in Josh Flowers' name or anything. It's
I got in trouble today. The president of that company sent me an email. He did not. That video's gone.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah. He sent me a thing saying our phone's ringing. People are calling to ask if it was real. What a great opportunity for some marketing. He's like, "Are you going to pull it down?" And I go, "I don't think so." And then he emailed me today. He's like, "I'm going to send you a cease and desist letter," and I know what comes after that. So I called my attorney. Rabbit hole. And my attorney said the same thing he always says. He goes, "You'll win, but it'll cost you a lot of money." And I said, "All right, I'll just pull it down." Yeah. They were mad. So I didn't mention. I didn't mention the name of your company. He's like, "Well, they're calling us. They figured it out." I was like, "All right."
Not even fair. You did your due diligence. Dang.
For what it's worth, I saw it and it was hilarious.
Damn, I didn't see it.
Do you think people are really going to spend $35 to pee in a cup and send it to an oil analysis lab? I might now. After they made me pull the video down.
Oh, God.
His response was, "We don't want people getting bad ideas." I was like, "Do you realize what I do?"
You are bad ideas.
Yeah, like you're the master of bad ideas.
Why did I direct you to a weather app that I'm very fond of?
Whenever I see like a spinner with some smudges on it, I just think of the thumbnail of that one video that you did cleaning your spinner.
Oh, I got in trouble. Well,
I think...
That was that the thumbnail? I ended up on OSHA's website after that one. Someone said OSHA.
What's this?
I'm not joking. I do a lot of dumb stuff.
Setting the bar high, Bryan. Setting that bar high.
I think it's funny that at the beginning we joked around about like we've read all these reports, so we know everything we need to know about Bryan. But like you're continuing to get all these great people calling different places to complain about you.
But who sees a video and says, "I'm going to call the oil company"? And go, "Did that really happen?" Like. Even if you want, like, you're going to call account, but that's what they said. People kept calling, and I was like, "Sell them some oil analysis, man. Do your job." Like,
well, cease and desist them.
Yeah.
I no longer believe in oil analysis. If you want to know.
So, for the both of you, do you have other updates that you've planned for the app? Other projects that you're trying to work on together or separately? What do you got in store for the aviation community?
I'll let you lead, Andrew.
Okay, yeah. No, we've definitely got a handful of updates planned for the app. One of the more pressing ones right now are widgets on Android. I want to make sure that that's a thing because that's a big deal for me. In fact, once I get that running, I can uninstall my other aviation app personally. And yeah, I also want to make sure to get a European mode so that it's all metric and all Eurocentric. Cool. And have a bunch of Euros-based jokes. No more freedom units. Maybe get a spot of tea. Or there's terrible British accent there. So I got that. And I am working on other projects, aviation related. Don't want to talk about them yet because the code is still very much in its infancy, and I just don't know where it's going to go yet. But I will tell you that it's something I haven't seen a version of since the early 2000s, and I feel like we need another version. So I'm learning yet another platform and developing another aviation project.
I think it's worth mentioning here, though, Andrew. So we did this project together, and we have some updates. Andrew is gonna. I'm understanding you got a company and you got a website where you're going to start building like aviation suite. That's not this. I mean, it's just our little thing, but you got grand dreams of doing suites of aviation apps, right?
Yeah, and actually more than just aviation apps, really just kind of any software and any applications. I mean, I've been running and writing apps for Android for 10 years now, and now that I'm successfully writing iOS apps and I'm getting more into the website and other projects. So really, software is my thing. I'm a software engineer by trade, and if someone needs a solution with software, that's what I take care of. So that's what Humanely Coded is. That's my project, my business, and yeah, that's my dream is to leave Megacorp and work for myself. Make my own little chunk of the pie one day, so that my wife and my nephew can, we can all just kind of live comfortably and not worry about what happens if they lay us all off tomorrow because Megacorp just decided to. And yeah, so that's part of what METAR AF came from and part of what my next project is about. But yeah, so if you want to stay up on that, follow me on Instagram at CatFlights. And if you look up METAR AF on Facebook, there's a page there for that. And I'm active on both. I might not post all the time, but I am active on both. At humanelycoded.com.
We're definitely going to put links to all that in our show notes. We will not be putting links to Bryan's YouTube channel.
I should get all the attention this time. Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's all you do.
Bryan's had his 15 minutes of fame. It's somebody else's turn.
Bryan gets his 15 seconds of fame every time we release a podcast episode, though.
That's true. So. We do mention your name every episode.
Okay, because I walk 5 miles every morning, and that's the only time I really consume content. And so I guess you had told me about the podcast, and I was like, I'm hearing my name like every time.
I just remember asking you, I'm like, hey, I know it's a long shot, but like, you're a funny guy. We like your content. We're doing an April Fool's episode. Are you in? You said yes. Right. And I was like, yeah. Yep. Whoa,
that's right.
First big name. That was when we were really early. No, seriously.
It was like the 7th episode or so.
Yeah. Okay. It was. I think
it was like
no
7th.
idea what we were doing.
You guys got
but it was funny.
Real big names now. I've been watching.
Oh, thanks crazy. For listening.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Who's the guy who does the crash reviews? Is it
Richard
Dick? What's his name?
McSpadden.
I love that guy. Yeah,
it's coming up a couple episodes from now. Is there anything else you guys want to cover on the app before we kind of wrap up our party here?
I'm moving at a snail's pace with a lot of people have asked when are we going to have something for TAFs. TAFs are quite a bit more complicated. I'm trying to figure out how to, and there's 4, every TAF has 4 of them. No one's got 5 actually, but so I'm working on, we're working on a TAF version of it. I'm not even going to commit to a timeline on that, but it's something I would like to have as well. Cause I think the real use of the app is great to get your METAR and your TAF in one place. I think is great, but it is dependent on me putting the funny piece of it in. I mean, we could pull the TAF and just show it to them and just have it be a TAF thing. But anyway, I'm working on the back end of that as slow as a human can. But that's for me. That's the next thing I have on my plate for this app.
On my side, it's really it's the desktop widgets, it's the European mode, and just more polish just to make the app look cleaner, have a little bit more data that's more usable, and of course Easter eggs.
Didn't you mention like a plain English translation mode or something?
Oh yeah, that's what America mode kind of ended up being.
Oh,
that's it was to enable like Fahrenheit and like just say like dew point. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, now that we've had this much fun, Maddie, what do you say we get to our last question?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
It's all coming together.
Oh yeah, that's all for
And Bryan, you're off the hook.
Thank you.
We have heard your unpopular opinion. You've come back and defended your unpopular opinion. Thanks for doing that, by the way.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Forgot about.
So it's Andrew's
I feel
turn.
like I lost. I feel like I defended and lost. That guy was way smarter than me. And I was just like, all right, you're right.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. You didn't come out great, but you came and tried to defend your own honor. I mean, I'll give you that.
As I'm talking, I'm like, I'm wrong. I'm dying on this hill, and I am dying.
Unpopular opinion?
Oh, yeah.
You're up, my man.
All right, so here it is. Straightforward. High wings are better. Fight me.
Oh.
There it is. That's cut and dry. High wings are better. Yeah, no, I have a laundry list of reasons.
Go. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I own a Cardinal.
That doesn't
Best
count.
airplane. That counts. 100% over. Argument done.
You can't say a 172 is the superior platform.
I'm not claiming a 172.
You said high wings. Everybody knows what a 172 is.
And I'm not. Yeah, wow. Let me be clear. Because if I want to float in a boat, I might go get a 172. Now, high wings. Now, I will still take a 172 over a Cherokee. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yeah, but I'm a flight seer. I want to see the ground, right? I'm not going to be flying more than, a few thousand feet, low and slow. If I'm going to get out of my Cardinal, I'm probably going to get into a Cub, so I can go see a better view with more open cockpit, more view. And especially out here in the Pacific Northwest, how am I going to see these waterfalls? How am I going to see the ocean if I got these big old wings in my way?
I think the ocean is really big. If you just look out the front, it's still there.
Hey, semantics. It's semantics, okay? No, my wings are in the way if I'm at a low wing. I can't see any ocean. It's all
ahead.
giant.
Right ahead.
I just got the flight category VFR. If you would actually look out the window for once, you would see where you're going to hit for miles.
Oh, that's so neat.
Perfect. Perfect.
It's well timed for this, too. I mean, you could look out the front, too.
So, and here's my final point. Everybody likes to say low wings because worst case scenario, you have a lower wing that's going to absorb most of the impact. Let's be honest. If you're coming into that situation and you're going to have a major impact, just throw me into the ground. Just don't let the wing take some of it and make me suffer and be like paralyzed. Just throw me into the ground. Just cantilever. Just put me in there. Automatic grave and everything. It's like, sorry, too dark. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe a little.
I will say this. I will give High Wings a point for one thing. I like airplanes where the landing gear mounts to the fuselage and not the wings. I'm hyper aware that my landing gear, my Piper, mounts to the wings, and I have landed really hard. And there has to be a mathematical formula for how many times it can hit that hard before you have a situation where I'm no longer a pilot. So your wings don't ever take that direct hit. So I'll give you a point. 1 point. I'm taking a point away for that weird elevator with a hole in it, though. Did you know?
Yeah,
without that hole, that plane just like all over the place doing aerobatics.
My plane still has 2 doors. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh,
do they shut on the first try? Do they? Because that's the dream. If they shut on the first try.
Yeah, because I don't have a Cessna.
Yeah, right.
Well, you two have been awesome. It's been really great talking with you guys.
It's been totally
great having you back again, Bryan. And I almost called you Brush because it's like that's what it says in the corner of your screen.
I auto-corrected my name to Brush, and if I send a bad autocorrect, if I like something autocorrect, I never fix it. I just send it. I got
that freaking Y in your name, man.
I know, but that's my rule. If autocorrect changes it, it gets sent. So I'm gonna go put something in the app. I just thought of I'm gonna put the winds are 3 knots out of 210. I hope you don't die. Sorry, autocorrect. I said have a good flight.
All right, well, you two have been awesome to talk to. Again, Bryan, it's been great having you back on. Andrew, it was great to meet you and have you on the podcast. And all the best in your app. We love it. So we hope that others will go pick that thing up too and enjoy it for the comedic value and the real weather value that it provides.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, very much appreciated. This was a blast.
This was fun.
We had such an incredible time recording that episode with Andrew and Bryan. So a huge thank you goes out to those guys for coming on and talking about their app, METAR AF. If you don't have that app just yet, you can check that out on Google or on Apple. It's available for Android and Apple devices, as well as the website METAR AF. We will have links for all of that down in the show notes. On our next episode, we'll be joined by Richard McSpadden of the Air Safety Institute, as well as former U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds commander. He talks all about his adventures with the Thunderbirds, as well as his work with AOPA and the Air Safety Institute. And just another reminder, if you're interested in being on the AirVenture Call-In Extravaganza Spectacular episode, be sure to drop us a line on social media or at flyingmidwestpodcast@gmail.com. Also, Maddie and I will be out at the big event this year, so if you are going to be out there and want to try to connect, reach out to us as well. We'd love to meet our listeners. That'll do it for this episode of the Flying Midwest Podcast. Until next time, zip!
Flight 536, contact Minneapolis Center 132.35 today.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Flying Midwest Podcast. Until next time, podcast service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Good day.
Let's see, this way I had this scripted is way stupider than what I actually said.
I love how meta it just got.
Yeah.
It's my whole life.
You two have developed a really great weather app. It had a really good one the other day. It was smoky as hell the other day. I'm like, it's got to have something, right? So I was looking, and now I can't find the screenshot. I thought.
Oh, I guess we should tell you what the app is. So
what? Oh, we didn't cover that. Yes, we did.
Well, yeah, I said it at first. METAR AF. He was like, "Do you know a good weather app?" You said you don't, so I stole his thunder for you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You let him. Yeah, you said the name of the app.
METAR
No, I
AF.
I don't know if we covered the fact that it's a weather app, but yeah, you did. There's all these wisecracks bit into it and criticizes your flying. I got it.
And yeah, my cat is down here just screaming at me for love. She does quite often.
Give her
Does she
scritch.
also does she get fed off of the Mountain Dew?
Fortunately, no. My cats are incredibly spoiled and have to have prescription cat food
Oh,
of the highest quality.
Of
That's
course.
a thing.
Yeah, it's an $80 bag thing. It's very much a thing.
Lord.
Here we go.
That's what we need, Andrew, is a sob story like those people in America's Got Talent. Like, I was bullied in high school, and his cat has leukemia. We built this app to build up my self-esteem and sustain his feline. Give us money.
I did not know what to expect with this interview, but this is great so far. This is amazing.
It's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
podcast.
we like to screw around and have fun.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
We don't like to take ourselves too seriously.
Love it.
Mostly based on my flying abilities. Maddie, did you want to ask the next one here?
Sure, I can do that.
Because I think we're at to you again. We've become more professional since the last time we talked to you, Brian.
Yeah, we even have things color coded.
I'm aware.
I've become less professional.
Okay.
We have these secret notes that you can't see, but
I was
we
gonna say, I
can
feel
see.
like you guys are both looking at something that we can't see.
We are.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
a big secret.
It is how
I can see
we
in
are
Maddie's
professional.
glasses.
I know.
like a
I'm kind
Google
of looking at
Doc.
glasses.
It's a Google Doc that says Brian is kind of a tool. Where do you want to go with this? Is what I
Kinda. How kind of you.
That's half the fun of editing is all the bloopers we can create.
Oh, for sure.
Gosh. Oh, this blooper reel is going to be a mile long. Oof.
What is his name?
He's like the
Assist.
alternate Russ Still. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you're...
Yes.
Why do I feel like the guy's last name is Kennedy or something like that? Is that
Terry
right?
or Kelly or... He's a pretty cool guy, but I mean...
If
it
if
was-
only we were all sitting in front of devices that could access the
If
power of the
only.
internet
know.
and provide us everything we could possibly,
Or is they're coming in on final and they're just yanking the yoke back and forth. They're doing full 90-degree pivots, and you're like, what are you trying to do?
That's not how you guys fly?